Hello. There's no reason for you to know who I am, and after too many gin and tonics, I can't remember myself, but my name's Philip Duff. I literally live the dream that I didn't even know I wanted to be when I was a kid. I travel the world, make great drinks, talk about great drinks, hang out in great bars like Clive's Classic Lounge here in Chateau Victoria Hotel in Victoria, BC in Canada. And I've got to bear in mind, those are my worst days. I also have weekends off and I am my own boss. I'll be back here in Victoria, BC later this year for the excellent Art of the Cocktail Festival. I was there last year. And to tide you over from now until then, I'd like to make you a drink because, you know, life's rough at the best of times. This is the official cocktail of Philip Duff 2011. It's a classic because I tend to turn more and more to the classics, actually. And it's a classic from one of the finest, maybe the finest, female bartenders ever, Ada Coleman of the Savoy in London. While working at that fantastic place, a famous actor came in and he asked her for something strong to shake him up, and she made this drink, just created it like that on the fly, and he tasted it and he said, by Jove, that's the real Hanky Panky. So today I'm going to make for you an excellent Hanky Panky cocktail. It's got only 3 ingredients, so like any cocktail with a low number of ingredients, you have to be a bit of a master to get them just right. And there are also 3 powerful, flavorful ingredients, so there's not much wiggle room here. You do it right or you don't do it at all, and hopefully we're going to do it right now. I'm going to start off with a good quality French vermouth, and I'm going to put in 1.5 ounces or 45 milliliters if you prefer. There we go. We're going to follow that up with an interesting ingredient that we're adding in bitter style, so just with a couple of dashes. It's going to be that pleasantly psychotic ingredient, Fernet Branca. We're only going to put in 2 dashes because you don't need a whole lot more in this. So 1 and 2. And our last ingredient is actually from the brand that brought me to Art of the Cocktail last year, and they'll bring me back again. It's the excellent French gin, GVine Nuaison, made in cognac from a base of Uni Blanc distillate as alcohol, the same distillate that's used in cognac. Unique botanicals, including the famous vine flower, used by no other product in the world. And this is the Nuaison, meaning the coalescence or the hardening. It's the stronger, more powerful, more classic expression of the more famous green bottle. And I think it's a lot closer to what Ada would have used back in the day, being like she was herself, a strong, uncompromising product. We're going to put in equal parts, so 1.5 ounces of this right in there. Oops, a bit more. Lovely. Now, you may be thinking I'm going to shake it, but you're wrong. Shaking this drink loses a good bit of its character. We're going to stir it. And the only reason I've poured it into the shaker first is I always like to give a stir drink a quick, what I call a pre-stir, just so I can be sure all the ingredients are well mixed before I pour them in there like this. I can feel my mouth starting to water with anticipation. So I'm just going to stir it lightly and reflect upon what a great pleasure it must be to bartend in that very fine bar in the Savoy in London. And I've been there many times, recently as well. The pleasure of making a great drink for people who appreciate it. In the spotlight, yet never arrogant or seeking fame. Using skills, knowledge, humility, service, and a love for your fellow man to make a better drink. Not to change the world, but sometimes a very pleasant drink can be all that you need. So, I'm going to put this in something very similar to what Ada would have used back then, a nice, classic, small cocktail glass. When you think about people drinking cocktails back then, they might have drunk lots of them, but they were all in smaller glasses. And on top of that, we're going to put, for its time, quite a pimp garnish, an orange zest. Now, back in the day, oranges were extremely short supply and they were expensive. I always remember my father saying, you know, when I was a kid, we were poor. All we got for Christmas was an orange and a cardboard box, and I played with that box for months, you know. But it's true. Having an orange zest on this is the equivalent of having gold dust sprinkled on your cocktail today. So we're going to take a small zest of orange and just lightly zest it over it. We don't need to set off bombs of flavour here. Too much will overpower it. I like to zest the stem as well so it gets onto your fingers. Everybody loves citrus oils. Citrus oils make you happy. Arguably cocktails do as well, so this is pretty much a winning combination. And there we have it, the GVine Nuaison Hanky Panky. I'm going to drink this right now, but if you'd like to have one with me in a few months, please come to Art of the Cocktail 2011 in Victoria, British Columbia.